Alright, real quick before the video starts, I want to say that what I say in this video is said because I like the game a lot and I'm a little upset with the current trials. So this video is going to be pretty much a big rant, but there will be a build at the end as well as a duo run where we actually get a pretty decent kills, like I think a 220, something like that. So if you want to see that, there will be timestamps in the description. Also, the build will be in the description. So there's that. If you want to hear me rant about the current trials, then that's the main portion of the video, and I hope you guys enjoy. What's up guys, OhDough here, and welcome back to another Dauntless video where today I'll be talking about trials because it's Wednesday now, but yesterday was Tuesday, that's the reset. And this week's trials is going to be Emmermain, which, by the way, okay, we'll talk about the freaking modifiers and then I'll discuss my feelings towards this week's trials because let me tell you what, I have some feelings this week for this current trials. But anyway, this week's trials features Emmermain, and it's going to be a threat level 22 in Dauntless difficulty, a threat level 19 in normal difficulty, but the modifiers for normal will be Static Shock, which is where spires periodically spawn and target slayers with shock projectiles. This modifier is just dumb. This is a very dumb addition to this fight, and the reason why is because on Shocked and Zyga, the pylons have you can basically negate them as if you play it properly. If you're solo and you're fighting against Shocked and Zyga, if you're next to the face, it won't put out pylons for a while. Most of the time. With Emmermain, it's just on a timer. And the annoying part is that these pylons pretty much spawn around Emmermain, which doesn't sound bad, right? Well, Emmermain likes to freaking go Hussein Bolt into Narnia, and when it's in Narnia, it's like, I'm gonna drop some pylons right here. And those pylons are legit just like they're far away, okay? They're long gone. So if you want to kill them, you basically have to take away a ton of time from the fight that you're supposed to be fighting Emmermain, not pylons. So the pylons are annoying. They spawn in Narnia sometimes, and they basically fire sometimes. Whenever a new pylon spawns, it has near the same fire rate as the other pylons. It's on like the same cycle, if you will. And so a pylon will spawn, and it'll shoot almost instantly sometimes. That's kind of annoying. I feel like this would not be a big deal if it didn't have pylons, or if the pylons just felt more fair, if they didn't have such a crazy timer. And also the pylons are firing faster. The projectile speed is faster than it normally is. Like I'm gonna post a clip comparison between Nene's pylons and Emmermain's pylons. You tell me which one shoots faster, because I swear myself, Revvy, it's two, Revvy and Zanny all think that they fire faster. We've been playing this game for a long time. I feel like we would know. But I'll post a clip in the video showing you guys the comparison. We'll see what happens. So that's my feelings towards Static Shock. That's just one modifier. Moving on, we have Electrify. Behemoth's physical attacks shock slayers. This is not a big deal. This is actually pretty much a non-factor. You don't really notice it whatsoever in the fight. The only time you notice it is if you get hit and Emmermain runs away, which happens pretty often, but most of the time you have enough time to hit it and cleanse this modifier, because if you get shocked by behemoths, they made it to where you can actually hit the behemoth or a pylon and cleanse that shock. So it's not a huge deal. But when you are shocked, you can't use potions, which is kind of annoying. And that's a big... Also, going back to the first modifier, Static Shock, the pylons, they one-shot you, by the way. Just throwing it out there. Anyway, moving forward. Inferno. Behemoth on fire effects last longer and deal more damage. Basically, if you get set on fire, you can try and roll it off. But again, I think that the play is to take the damage and then heal, and then roll while healing. Anyway, so the last modifier is going to be called Cursed Lightning, and this is only going to be on Dauntless difficulty. So this is where slayers will periodically be targeted by a curse of lightning. All slayers get the curse, one slayer gets the bolt. I actually like this modifier. This is actually a really cool modifier, even though it does make Emmermain pretty much Stormclaw in this sense, which is kind of funny, but that's besides the point. The point is, this modifier is actually my favorite one out of all this whole selection, because it's the most interesting. It's like the modifier you can actually play around and not have to juggle all these freaking random things on the battlefield. Like, this modifier is cool. The issue that I've seen so far is that the animation for it is not very visible, and that's kind of true. We're in a pretty well lit arena, and it's hard to see a yellow indication for whenever the lightning's going to strike. I can get behind that. Also, the cloud used to be a dark cloud, and now it's just this like strange looking thing. Revvy said it looks like a starfish, and I kind of agree. It looks kind of weird. But like this modifier is not that bad because you can communicate with your teammates. If you're in a pug group, good luck. All right, hey, I have the shock buff. Okay, brother, you're just gonna die. Like they're not gonna hear you. They're not gonna care. You'd be like, what's shock buff? What's curse lightning, brother? And then you're all gonna die because this hits really hard too. But it's the most interactive modifier in the whole selection. Because I don't like static shock. This mod like I keep going back to this modifier, but this is just such a bad addition to this fight. It makes this whole trial seem like a chore more so than a fight. Like I don't like how the modifiers for some trials can make them just they make the fight, not the fight itself, right? Like I'm fighting pylons and not Embermain. And people will be like, "Oh, just stand in a corner." Well, if you're in a corner, it kind of bugs out Embermain's UI, making the fight non-existent. So I don't know what the deal is there. Also, if you boop Embermain, it's on the ground, right? If you stagger it, it does a crazy flip, which is cool. But the pylons and the orbs from the pylons can just yeet you out of existence. So these modifiers are enjoyable. Smile. And if you don't believe me, I have a run with RevvyRad. We got I think either sub 2 or close to like 2-minute run on Dauntless difficulty Embermain. And I can say that that's going to be the only run I do outside of maybe helping out Zanny. Well, not helping him, but playing with Zanny, try and get his sub 3, because this is just, it's not a fun trial, man. Not for me. Like last week's trial with Deadeye was actually enjoyable. This week's trial with Embermain, I don't see myself doing it solo which I've been trying to do every trial like to get top 10. This will be the first trial where I don't want to do that because I just don't want to waste my mats. I don't find it enjoyable. I don't think it's not worth the stress. And in groups, I normally do, well, actually that's a lie. Last week's trial I actually did like in groups on my stream at twitch.tv/OhDough. Just saying, couldn't hear me because I talk too fast, but it's whatever. But I actually did it on stream with a bunch of people. I helped out a ton of people getting just as fast of time as we could. Actually, in a pug group, I got like a 130 like out of nowhere, so that was pretty interesting. But this is the first trial where I just don't want to do it either solo or in a group at all. Like, I just don't enjoy this trial. I don't enjoy that they're making these trials bullet hells when they're supposed to just be the behemoth. Like, we're not really fighting the behemoth in this trial. We're fighting pylons. And that's not really enjoyable, because I had a trial, I played with Zanny, and we were actually focusing down the pylons, but it was to no avail because they kept spawning and spawning and spawning. There's nothing you can really do. You can't keep them under locks. It's just, I don't find this trial enjoyable. Like, that's all I can really say. And I really hope that future trials just feature more friendly, like not friendly, like just more enjoyable mechanics. Also, on the topic of trials not being enjoyable, I don't really find one-shot mechanics that amazing. Like, I get, okay, you shouldn't mess up, because if you mess up, you die. Like, that kind of makes sense, but at the same time, if you mess up and you just get one shot, where's the outplay? You know, it's like, oh, hey, you messed up a little bit, you're gonna die. There's not really any outplay potential, and I feel like also getting one shot, it's like just, hey, don't play this mode, go play something else. It's chewing away so many players that could be playing this mode, enjoying it, because what's the fun of getting one shot? So I like the idea of having the power of the behemoth be higher, only because that means that weapons, you can't just use Hellion weapons on everything, right? Like, if you're fighting Embermain, you don't want to use Hellion Chainblades. I know that me, myself, and a ton of other folks keep saying, hey, use Hellion Chainblades in every single fight. Well, in this case, you don't want to do that, because you're I think Frugal was like, it's like around 60% less damage, or you're doing 60% of your total damage to Bloodheart Embermain in Dauntless Trials with Hellion Chainblades. So in that case, you want to bring Frost Chainblades or a different set of Chainblades. And I think that's interesting because it makes you play a different weapon, and it makes you rely on different tactics to actually do well in the trial. Like, it's you got different builds. It's just more interesting in that whole sense. What's not interesting is getting one shot. That will never be enjoyable. And I think that it's okay on moves that are super telegraphed and that like have like some weight to them. But Embermain doesn't really have much weight to its attacks whatsoever. Also, speaking of Embermain, the pathing for Embermain is still scuffed. And what I mean by that is, like, Embermain will do like 2 dashes sometimes. Normally, if it does like like it dashes away and dashes at you, that's not that bad. When it dashes like away again and then at you, that normally scuffs up and makes it so it doesn't really hit the person it's trying to. It goes either past them or some weird jankiness. And sometimes it'll be running at your teammate, and it should be in a range where you can actually boop it, but it won't actually be boopable until it gets like right next to your teammate, making it just really Pepega. Makes it really unfun to play. But that's how I feel about this trial so far. But go ahead and watch me and Revy clap out and actually get a kill. Probably one of my only kills this patch or this trial. I'm sorry for being somewhat negative, but I played this trial for like 4 hours today and I didn't have fun in a single attempt. And that makes me feel kind of rough. It makes me feel kind of a certain kind of way. And real quick, before I show you guys the run, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the build I use, which is actually usable on pretty much every single weapon except for repeaters and axe. And I say axe because the axe needs a ton of attack speed. This build does not have enough attack speed to make the axe viable in this trial. But it is going to be good for the sword, the chain blades, and the warpike if you want to torture yourself playing warpike. By playing the warpike, hey, up to you. Anyway, the build has a Boreas weapon because I think it's one of the best weapons for this fight because it's one of the best frost weapons in the game currently, I think. That's my personal preference. Some folks might like Scrave weapons. Pick whatever you want. Anyway, I chose the hammer for this run. I did with Revy. I had my Landbreaker for my special. The mod was extended clip because it's really helpful. You should probably have that if you do. If you don't, get to Hammer Mastery level 16. You'll be Gucci. Now, for the armor, I have the Drask helmet, Koshai chest piece, Nasher gloves, Koshai feet, and I actually had the Pangar lantern. Pangar. I'll say it like that. Pangar. So I had that lantern, and for my cells, I had +6 Etheric Attunement, Conduit, Overpower, Predator, Rage Hunter, +3 Conditioning, and actually +3 Tough. Now the Tough, you might not be like, oh, this is kind of garbage. Well, the Tough actually comes in clutch, because I should have died, I think, a couple times tonight, and I got saved because the Tough gave me just a little bit extra health, and plus getting extra healing off your potions is a pretty huge thing, because I'm getting hit in this trial consistently. I'm bad. What can I do? Anyway, that's the build. Enjoy the run, and thanks for watching so far.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God. Lightning.
Copy. You're nuts? At that, wait, you got your Aether charge, right?
No, I didn't go off.
Unlucky. I hit him? Hello? Is this thing off?
It's not close enough. He's been pegging out. Buffs.
Huge. Lightning.
Wow. Behind us.
That sucked.
Lightning. Buffing.
Repotting. This leg's almost broken. I might be able to get it. Lightning, lightning, lightning. Heal up.
Healing. Buffing.
Pylons are broken. Nice.
We're done.
Yo, that was such a clean run too.
We're done.
Yo, what?
Time to uninstall
Nice.
later. Dauntless feels good. Hey, you trying to play some
Feels
Monster Hunter
good.
World, bro?
Yeah. I mean, let me reinstall.
Let me
Nah.
reinstall it.
Just kidding. It's already installed.
Let's do normal.